All right, let's get right into this explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into the fascinating visual and cultural history of Central Asian money. We're going to look at how the physical coins and banknotes exchanged in bustling bazaars and now modern digital wallets actually serve as a massive, evolving canvas for a region's identity. So, grab a seat, get comfortable, because we are unpacking literally centuries of history right out of our wallets. Okay, let's dive into this. How exactly does money evolve? We tend to think of it just as a tool, right? Something to buy things with. But if you look closely, it's essentially a canvas of a nation's history. It's an artifact. We're going to trace a journey that starts with the ancient silver dirhams plinking along the Great Silk Road all the way to the highly debated, cutting-edge digital designs of today. Section 1. Ancient Coins of Central Asia. To really understand where we are today, we've got to go way back to the 4th century BC. This is when early Central Asian states, like Bactria and Khwarezm, first began minting coins. And looking back through history, you can see these weren't just random lumps of metal. They were powerful artifacts designed to project authority across these newly established trade routes, linking the East and the West. Just look at the immense shifts in power reflected over time. Following Alexander the Great, you've got Greco-Bactrian coins stamped with the faces of Greek gods. But then, by the 8th century AD, as the Islamic caliphates take hold, those faces, they completely disappear. They're replaced by this beautiful, intricate Arabic calligraphy. Fast forward a bit to the 14th century, the mighty Timurid Empire is minting high-quality silver and gold specifically to fuel international trade. And finally, by the 18th and 19th centuries, regional powers like the Khiva, Kokand, and Bukhara Khanates are minting their own distinct regional coins. Now, throughout this sweeping historical epic, two terms are going to constantly pop up: the dirham and the tenge. The dirham was a silver coin that basically became the absolute standard currency of early Islamic Central Asia. Honestly, it was the very engine of the Great Silk Road trade. The tenge, on the other hand, was widely minted later on by those regional khanates. I mean, just imagine merchants in Samarkand haggling over silks and spices using these exact pieces of silver. It's wild to think about. Section 2. Som Coupon, the era of change. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how fast things had to move during the early 1990s. This was a period of incredible economic uncertainty right after the fall of the Soviet Union. Uzbekistan absolutely had to protect its internal market. So in November 1993, to shield their consumer market from just a massive flood of old Soviet rubles pouring in, they introduced a transitional currency, the Som Coupon. It started at a strict 1-to-1 ratio with the ruble. And get this, these transitional coupons were actually printed in England, but they were always meant to be just a stopgap. Less than a year later, in July 1994, the true national currency, the Som, was officially introduced to replace them entirely. This number right here, this tells you everything you need to know about the economic volatility of that transition: 1,000. By August 1994, when the Som coupons were being fully phased out, the conversion rate was just staggering. It took 1,000 of those transitional Som coupons to equal just one new national sum. It's a really stark reminder of the intense, hyperinflationary pressures this brand new republic had to navigate just to stabilize its economy. Section 3. Modern Banknotes of Uzbekistan. All right, that brings us out of the turbulent 90s and into the cutting-edge present. The Central Bank of Uzbekistan issued these incredible new 50,000 and 100,000 Som banknotes in late 2021. And while they are absolute marvels of design and engineering, they are deeply themed around the Great Silk Road and ancient regional history, featuring sites like the 11th century Abu Iso Termizi Mausoleum. But check out the security tech. We've got spark-live elements, like a flying dove on the 50K note, that actually shift color and create a movement effect when you tilt the bill. There's tactile relief on the edges for the visually impaired. They feature metallic color-shifting threads, and even a really beautiful local watermark of a Silk Road camel. It is literally a perfect marriage of ancient heritage and modern anti-counterfeit technology. And this brilliantly illustrates something so cool. Notice how the traditional geometric motifs, echoing patterns found on pottery that dates all the way back to the 1st century BC, are woven directly into the graphic design of today's physical currency. The modern banknotes feature images of ancient ceramics and coins found in local archaeological digs. It's an unbroken visual chain stretching back thousands of years. Pretty amazing, right? Finally, let's jump into Section 4, the new graphic symbol of the Som. So in February 2022, a massive public competition was announced to design a modern digital graphic symbol for the Som. Just like the dollar, the euro, or the yen, the Som needed a digital identity for the 21st century global economy. And the public response? It was absolutely massive. Over 17,000 project submissions poured in from across the country. 17,000. This wasn't just some boring corporate rebranding. This was a highly passionate public exercise in defining national identity. Through a super rigorous process, checking technical requirements, ensuring confidentiality with blind judging, those 17,000 were somehow narrowed down to just 54 finalists. Ultimately, the jury, which was made up of reps from the Central Bank, the Institute of Art and Design, and the Intellectual Property Agency, selected a winning design by Servar Jumagaldiev. The official rationale stated that his design was, and I quote, "the most creative project that vividly expresses the uniqueness of the national currency." But as with literally any major change to a national symbol, you better believe the public had a lot to say about it. The debate online was immediate, and it was fiery. Let's look at some real public reactions here. One internet commenter questioned the whole design convention, asking, where is the symbolic horizontal or vertical line all major currencies have, like the dollar or the euro? And where is it on our symbol? Looks like a Georgian letter. Which actually is a really fascinating point about how we've been totally conditioned to think currency symbols must look a certain way based on Western standards. But right away, a powerful counter-argument emerged. Another commenter expressed immense pride, stating, "Our Som has its own path, its own identity. Let everyone else cross out their signs. Such a sign did not exist, and that is enough for uniqueness." And that really highlights the core of the whole debate, doesn't it? Should a modern Central Asian currency conform to Western typographic rules? Or is carving out a completely unique, standalone identity the ultimate goal? Which leaves us with this final thought. If the silver dirhams and tengus of the past told stories of powerful khans, sprawling empires, and the bustling Silk Road, what will our new digital symbols and high-tech banknotes tell future generations about us? Are we conforming to global standards, or are we carving out our own unique identity in the digital age? The money in our pockets and on our screens isn't just currency, it is history happening right now. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep looking closely at the world around you.